Have you ever tried to casually checkmate your opponent in 4 moves by going for bishop c4 and then getting the queen out? But the bastard that you're playing against goes for the Caro-Kann, which is supposedly the perfect counter to your little idea, and now you're simply questioning your existence after they go for d5?
I've literally tried everything against the Caro-Kann, but absolutely nothing seems to work. I think I may be trying out the London system next.
In case you're looking for a weapon against the Caro-Kann, or you simply watch every single video that I post because you have no life, this video contains 2 parts. The first one, I'm gonna be playing against a lower rated opponent, highlighting one of the most typical scenarios, and in the second part of this video, I'm gonna be showing you all the in and outs of this variation, the theory behind Black's optimal play, research based on specifically what the lower rated players are doing, and pretty much all you need to know in order to be destroying the Caro-Kann defense. So let's get started. Right, everybody, looks like we're getting the white pieces. Gonna be opening up with a king spawn, and let's see what opponent has in store for us. Is it gonna be a Vienna? Oh my! It is the Caro-Kann, but little do they know about my upcoming deadly weapon. But first of all, we're gonna be using the scene. I know it's like doesn't have to do a lot with the Caro specifically, but why does the French need a cool background? The Caro-Kann can have one too. And I'm gonna be using the craziest line that you've ever seen. I'm gonna be playing 92. Maybe wondering, what? 92? Dude, what's wrong with you? Well, if that was your reaction, that is completely understandable. And I can confirm that you're still a sane person, even though you watched the video for longer than 30 seconds. That's good. I'm not a certified doctor, but I can have a look. So, opponent plays d5. Point is to go e5, and he's gonna do bishop f5 because these Caro-Kann bozos, they don't know what our scary idea is about. And we're gonna be using this knight, hitting the bishop. He's gonna go there like, oh, I'm just gonna play the Caro-Kann like I saw on the Gotham chess channel, and I'm gonna get a good opening. I'm gonna be a good chess player. Fine, you could do that. I'm gonna push my h pawn, threatening to trap that bishop. He goes there, okay, keep advancing. And what is the idea in this position? Some of you may actually be aware with this. If you play like the advanced variation before, for sure, you know the move. Now, a common move that I think maybe a lot of you would be playing without like any intention to trash talk your chess, but it's just a very standard move if you don't know the idea. That is d4. But it's not gonna be the best because they just play e6. So, in order to avoid that, you're just gonna go e6 in this position. Now, they're gonna take us, they don't really know what to do. And it's perhaps like the only move. Queen d6, sometimes it's interesting, but I don't think it's like very sensible now. And the point is to play d4. Now, I'm gonna be asking you, what is that bishop on f8 doing? To me, that bishop, it looks like, you know, his wife just went to the club with the girls, and he has to stay home, watch out for the kids. That is just like completely useless bishop. It's just like very sad. You can see it almost like has tears on the bishop. So play bishop d3 now. Exchange this guy, and my argument is that he's never gonna be able to finish development, and perhaps I'm even gonna be able to chip away onto his dark squares, especially, I mean, I meant to say light squares, especially g6. So, yeah, that's why I'm going for the bishop trade. He goes that. We don't care, dude. That's like, you're missing the boat. Don't even look at that. And then I'm interested to do something like that. Really want to do something of that nature. But I'm just gonna get developed first. Could have also played bishop f4. Maybe that was a bit better. Trying to stop e5. Maybe now he can try queen c7. I think, in fact, he should. Queen c7 long castle. Queen c7, I'm gonna go queen e2 though. Stopping him from pushing e5 and hitting the pawn. And I think this is just very problematic for him. He's gonna go queen d6, but then we have a very strong move, I think. You guys can perhaps even go ahead and try to pause the video. I mean, if you genuinely try to improve your chess, you should be pausing the video whenever I say so. Just trying to find the move. It is just making a difference. So, Okay, we have a bunch of ideas. Perhaps my move may not even be the best. But I think getting bishop f4 would be like really nice. So you just gotta find a way to make that work. No, it's not queen f3. I don't know why would you do that. You're losing control over e5, you bozo. You should stop playing that way. f4 would be a decent move, stopping that. But I think something even sexier. We're trying to make some big plays. We're trying to get some tempo. And are we gonna succeed with that? I don't know. But we're trying to go for the attack. Not even castling. Castling is overrated anyways. Just want to go for the attack. Man, if he was taking, that would have been so brilliant. I gotta show you that in the analysis tab after the game. But it would have been so good. It's just like pissing me off that he didn't. Anyways, I'm just gonna do this. This bishop is like, bro, what is he like trying to do? I mean, it's unplayable. He's like never gonna see the light of the day. It's just me practicing chess in my basement. It's just never having any social life. Yeah, it's bad. You get the idea. So, okay, now he has no play. I can do whatever. I'm just like playing up a piece. I could maneuver this knight, bring it over. It's just such an easy game because technically, I'm not up material, but practically, he just has nothing to do. I can just go b5 and try to win with brute force, but I'm going to show you the power of actually using your pieces. So I'm going to use this knight. This is just useless. He's not going to do anything. And I just win because it feels like I'm playing with an extra piece. Sure, he's going to do this nonsense. We don't care. I can even try to stop him so I can play that. It would be even funnier if I would have tried to completely stop him from pushing. I should have actually done that for aesthetic purposes, but yeah, I can do knight e2, g5, en passant, play knight b3, knight c5. That's like completely winning. I'm still kind of guessing. I mean, I'm just going to stick with the main plan. If g5 maybe like not even taking, although I can like really ignore it too. Yeah, maybe just go like knight b3, actually not caring about it at all. Get a knight to c5. What is he going to do? Not much, I guess. Has to play queen e8. Now I have like bishop c7 win exchange at least. I'm not gonna like give away my free bishop. I mean, not free, but precious bishop. This is not how it goes around. We're not gonna give him an easy way out. He's gonna play b5. He's gonna take. We don't care. You guys think we care about such things? Not at all. You'd be surprised. We don't care about like minor threats. Okay? Get mated. Fine by me. Fine by me. Somebody's gonna get mated because this is no longer a thing. No longer a thing. It's like getting mated anyways. He's got like no moves. Absolutely no moves I could do. I could do anything and he doesn't have a way to avoid it. That's like so sad. This is just like such a sad position. I mean, what is the opponent gonna do? He has to take. Oh, wow. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. Alright, fine. Alright, let's see, opponent. What do you got? You can't take the queen. The queen is untouchable. Gotta get mated. I know I do have mate in one, but you should always look for better. So. Oh, he goes rook f2. I don't know. That looks pretty scary. That looks pretty scary. I don't think we're supposed to take that. What is the opponent gonna do? Bro. Move 30. That guy hasn't moved once. Do you actually understand how bad that is? Imagine playing like a 30 moves game and you don't get to participate. It's like, it's how I used to be picked at the soccer team. It's like, you know, you make the teams. There's like the captains that get to pick the players. I would always get picked last. It's just like, he said this bishop never gets picked. It's like, dude, we have one extra guy. The extra guy doesn't get picked. That's like the f8 bishop. Now he just gets brutally mated because of these maneuvers. So yeah, guys, if you're looking for a pretty cunning response to the Caro-Kann that I'm pretty sure they don't really expect, you can go for this 92 move, and it is actually a legit line. It's not like you have a bad position or anything. Sure, with good play, Black will equalize, but not more than that. It's not like you're gonna be worse because you're playing it this way. So could definitely give this one a try. It's a pretty fun line. Alright, everybody, now that you made it this far into the video, it means that perhaps you're a little bit more interested to learn some theory about this actual line, or maybe you haven't even paid attention to the game, you just skip to this part. Maybe you just like don't like me at all and you just want to get the theory because you know it's gold. So whether that would be the case or not, let's go with the action. So when it goes Caro-Kann, we play this ultimate weirdness going 92. We're basically soul reading them because we know what they're up to. So most of the times they're just gonna be playing d5 and then bishop to f5. And I know some of you may be wondering, all right, what if for some reason they don't play bishop to f5 and my opponent goes bishop g4? You may be wondering, well, that is actually a very good question because this is, according to the Leech's database, the second most played move in the position. However, it's like 5 times less frequent compared to bishop to f5. So still pretty rare, but from my experience, the game could continue the following way. We just break the spin attacking the bishop, and if your opponent is like very clever, they will stay onto this diagonal and get like a playable position. But most of the times, I think lower rated players are very likely to just slide back because this is kind of like their only candidate. Whenever the bishop gets attacked, they just go back onto h5. So we can keep putting pressure on the king side, specifically with this h4 idea, because what this actually is threatening, if they play like sort of a careless move, as let's say maybe e6, white can get the winning position after the important knight f4. And that is huge because you don't want to rush with a move like g4 because all of a sudden black will get some counterplay after the simple but ultra annoying bishop to e7. Take the bishop, be my guest, but you're about to get kind of mated. I mean, not really, but it's a very bad position. So important here to just keep your calm. Go knight f4, and when they slide the bishop back, then you go h5, bishop f5, then you go g4, and this way you are most likely gonna be winning a piece. So the bishop there, it's super dangerous, and after h4, they could also try out a move like h6, just kind of getting ready for meeting our pawn push, and we can continue in like a very similar fashion, going knight f4, hitting the bishop. They most likely have to go back, and now we just take and create this kind of massive weakness on g6. After pawn takes, we can continue with the move bishop to d10 and just look at this pawn, how weak it actually really is. Black is so desperate that they need to make a move like king f7, and now they have to babysit this pawn for the rest of the game. I mean, we can play f4, continue the pressure with h5, and then the position of black's king is actually very exposed. So white is just close to winning. Now, we could definitely make a bigger case on that, but I think this is literally more than you need to know against the move bishop to g4. So besides that, we looked at this. We haven't looked at bishop to f5 yet. However, we saw it during the game. I still will touch on that on the end of the video because this is where, you know, like the most of the theory is weighted towards, and that is why what I expected to face in most of your games. But in case you're planning to do this, let's say above 2000, I think you've got big chances of facing a move like c5, because around 2000, people may have lost at least once against this setup and they try out c5, so kind of not rushing to develop the bishop on like the most typical Caro-Kann square ever, and they just try delaying that a little bit. So against this, I think white has a number of interesting tries. However, I'm a huge fan of the d4 move, specifically because it's filled with a lot of very dangerous traps. Now, Take as an example this line after knight c6, c3. And for instance, if your opponent goes bishop to g4, just like in the previous case, we're going to be sticking with the same f3 move. And after bishop goes back h4, believe it or not, we do get a pretty nasty initiative again. So you may be trying to make the argument that, okay, in this position, bishop to f5 is just a little bit more logical and this should be the move. The point with bishop to f5 is that it actually gives white a very interesting alternative of going d takes on c5. Yes, taking that pawn, trading it for e5, because after the following move, knight to d4, black is dealing with a very tricky position. Now, why is that, you may be wondering? Well, if you go for like the most natural move, which most people would make, bishop to g6, f4, and guess who's in trouble? Knight is under attack, f5 is a huge threat, trapping the bishop because the queen covers h5, and white is already having a pretty significant lead. So one last thing that they could sort of try after c3, so bishop f5, dc, we figured out it's quite dangerous for black, so what if they actually take on d4 first? That is going to be the last line we're going to have a look on from this exact variation. And after bishop to f5, I like to develop the knight. No need to be afraid of knight b4 type of moves, because there is at the very least a queen a4 check that is forcing the enemy knight back. And after e6, I simply like to go a3, not only stopping knight b4, but also preparing to push the pawn. In the future, we could be looking for some queenside expansion. So a very kind of natural move for black, I guess, would be something like knight g e7. And then I think we can simply try to finish development by first going knight g3, aiming towards the bishop pair. And if they try to keep, I think this idea of launching the h-pawn is once again quite effective. For instance, if they go h6, we can grab a little bit more space, then play bishop to d3, and the following position is just easier to play as white, since black has a pretty hard time dealing with these pieces. I mean, yes, they could go for this kind of famous reroute with the bishop on e7, but the plan of going f4, f5 is definitely something that black needs to be worried about. So yeah, that just leaves us to the kind of really tempting move, and what you're gonna be going to face in like 90% of your games if you're playing this below 1800, which is bishop to f5, where I'm a huge fan of simply going knight g3, as you saw into the game. They will go back to g6 because that's like only move that they really kind of expect. So you like really need to understand the psychology of your opponent. They're just playing the Caro-Kann. They want to get a solid game. They want to get their bishop onto f5, and these moves are like super easy to predict, which just makes this variation so effective in the first place. Now, we're gonna be going for this h4 move. It's just a nice little way to weaken black's kingside a little bit, because sure, we have the same e6 idea, but here I feel like it would be a little bit of a premature attackulation, I may add, because, well, we could just get a slightly better version, so why wouldn't we? If it's just free and we know that they're gonna be playing the same way every time. So we prefer to throw this in, and no matter whether they play h5 or h6, I mean, h5 is slightly better not to allow us to expand, but against both, we would be using the same idea. Say they go h5, which is an improvement over what happened in the game. I still think that you're gonna be getting, yeah, just a very nice position, and you should be having massive success after this pawn sack. Mainly because they don't know to play the proper move here, which is generally queen d6, hitting the pawn and kind of forcing you take on f7. And then after a move like king takes on f7, black will get enough counterplay based on the e5 push. However, you're generally gonna see the move pawn takes on e6. We continue with d4, preparing bishop to d3, and let's say a sample line could be something like knight f6. We get the bishop trade. For them, it would be slightly better to keep the bishops, but according to the statistics, they rarely do. I mean, even if they were to play that move, guess what? White is still having a very nice position, mainly because this bishop is like really sad, really blocked inside the pawn chain. So Yeah, after the trade, they can try out a move like queen d6, which is hinting towards e5, but we can actually make it in such way that we allow black to push e5, but we just make it good in our favor. So let me give you an example. We could do check, king d7, and then just castle. And we're basically saying, okay, black, go ahead, push e5, get rid of your double pawn, but at the end of the day, they do have the king in the center, so it makes it easier for us to open up the position and get straight to their king. With a move like c4, very standard idea. You can just continue with ideas like knight c3, maybe rook d1, maybe even bishop e3, and then use the other rook for the d file. And oh boy, this king is really gonna be in trouble for the rest of the game. So that is one line that could appear after h5. Another move, instead of knight f6, there could be knight to d7. This is also pretty common, at least according to the database, but not really changing anything. I mean, knight df6, bishop to f4. I just like this move, not to rush with a check and make sure they never get in e5. Followed by knight to d2. We can castle long and put pressure on e6. Can always throw in queen g6. It's just yeah, a matter of whether you want to go for it or not. It's like you're gonna have a good position anyways. So the most common move that you're actually gonna face, according to the statistics, it is the move h6. Same thing we had in the game, and a very common idea that I've noticed, people just get checkmated in 11 moves. Yes, you heard it right. So after h5, e6, pawn takes once again. It would be a little bit better for them to find queen d6, and then we could take play d4, just get developed. I mean, it's an equal position, but it's a mess. It's unclear. I think we have very good chances of catching them off guard, and they will rarely play something like that. I mean, once again, you can have my word, below 1800, nobody will ever play this way. Even if they do, well, you just have an even position where I guess it's easier to play as white since their king looks pretty weak. So queen d6 would be sort of the so-called refutation of this line, because we're not gonna get such an easy, straightforward bind like in the game. But yeah, I think definitely you're gonna get to see f takes on e6. We can play d4, and yeah, after knight f6, bishop b3. Bishop trade is very common, and you have no idea how many people in this position have played the move knight b d7. I'm not making this up. This is proven by the Leech's database, where you can literally just get a checkmate on g6. Pretty crazy, I know. And in case they, let's say, get on their running shoes and start playing king d7, well, just go bishop f4, go for positional domination, controlling e5. It's not really about checkmating, but about playing against this bishop on f8 like we actually did in the game. And well, just watch out for their counterplay. No need to allow any kind of weird knight b4. And yeah, moves like queen b6 can be met by knight d2, since queen b2 is always gonna be problematic. After rook b1, we pick up the b7 pawn, and black is about to get mated. So yeah, I think that is like sort of a quick move-by-move summary of this 92 variation. If you're running out of ideas on what to play against the Caro-Kann, definitely feel free to give this one a try. And in case you're interested to see what I'm playing against other e4 openings as white, make sure to click the video that will appear on the screen. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.